covering every county. This is your statewide newscast. Arkansas Today.
Good afternoon. I'm Mallory Brooks. Thanks for watching Arkansas Today on this Tuesday afternoon. We begin in Springdale, where police have arrested 2 suspects, and they're looking for 2 more after a call about car break-ins turned into a shooting and then a high-speed chase. Police say around 1:30 Monday morning, police responded to a report of people breaking into cars in the Kimberly Place area. Police say the caller followed the group up to 40th Street when one of the suspects fired 2 shots at them. The caller then pulled over and waited for police. The suspects led police on a high-speed chase until crashing in Johnson. Police say 4 people trying to make a run for it. They arrested 20-year-old Billionaire and a 16-year-old. Andaric is charged with flight from an officer. New York prosecutors charging Jeffrey Epstein with sex trafficking and sex trafficking conspiracy after a discovery made inside his New York City home. Prosecutors are labeling billionaire Jeffrey Epstein a danger to the community who poses an extreme flight risk, telling a judge the convicted sex offender is not reformed, he is not chastened, he is not repentant, in an effort to keep him behind bars until his trial. The 66-year-old pleading not guilty Monday to charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy to traffic minors for the purpose of sex.
Epstein also paid certain victims to recruit additional girls to be similarly abused.
Photos show FBI agents breaking Epstein's front door in New York shortly after his arrest on Saturday. Court documents revealing they found a vast trove of lewd photographs of young-looking women or girls inside. Epstein will remain behind bars until his next bail hearing on Monday. If convicted, he could face up to 45 years in prison. According to the American Medical Association, more than 130 people in the country die from opioid overdose every day. But new statistics show Arkansas may be making progress to fight that epidemic. In 2018, Arkansas's prescriptions fell by 18% from the previous year. That's according to the Task Force Annual Progress Report. The report also found an increase in the number of physicians trained to treat addicted patients. Dr. Randy Conover is a family physician in Centerton, and he says it's now harder for doctors to prescribe opioids. Monitoring systems have made the process better.
When someone's asking for an opioid, I can see who's prescribed it in the last 2-3 years, how many doctors they're going to, are they shopping around, and so those kind of monitoring programs help us to help them.
He says doctors need to further educate themselves and really understand what opioids can do to people. He says it's important to remember some people do actually need them. New cases of measles have reached a new record in the country. According to the CDC, there are now 1,109 confirmed cases in 28 states. That is an increase of 14 cases from the previous week. The hardest hit state is still New York, where there are nearly 900 cases reported. This comes as new reports have appeared to slow down in the past couple of weeks. This continues to be the worst outbreak in the U.S. since 1992. Billionaire Democrat Tom Steyer announcing his bid for president on Twitter today, 6 months after he said he would not run. The environmental activist and philanthropist joins the crowded race for president one day after California Congressman Eric Swalwell dropped out. He's achieving name recognition after launching the Need to Impeach campaign through television and social networking ads in October of 2017. His net worth is a reported $1.6 billion. Ross Perot, the self-made billionaire from Texas who made 2 bids for the White House, has died at the age of 89. Chuck Todd reports.
The self-made man from Texarkana.
The party's over, and it's time for the cleanup crew.
Henry Ross Perot founded Electronic Data Systems in 1962 with a $1,000 check, later selling the company to General Motors and becoming an early tech billionaire. In 1992, he catapulted into national politics.
If you want to register me in 50 states, number one, I'll promise you this, between now and the convention, we'll get both parties' heads straight.
The most successful third-party candidate since Teddy Roosevelt in 1912 to this day, Bush and Clinton supporters debate who Perot hurt more in 1992.
And you don't care about anything but making money, there will be a giant sucking sound going south.
At a time when public trust in government was lower than during Watergate, Perot appealed to a group of disenchanted voters on one issue, the deficit. selling his message with folksy charisma.
As I've said before, it's time to take out the trash and clean out the barn.
TV appearances.
Look out, George Bush. Here comes H. Ross Perot.
And infomercials.
That's what we could have done with $4 trillion if we hadn't wasted it.
Perot could be combative.
You have said that part of your $40 billion deficit reduction plan is $180 billion.
Yes, may I finish?
May I finish? It was a simple question.
Well, you've already finished. Go and finish again. It's your program. You can do anything you want to with it. Go ahead.
But his message stuck. He won nearly 20 million votes and became a pop culture phenomenon.
The deficit is like a crazy ant down the basement, no one paying attention to her. And she is just getting unrear and stinkier. You got me?
Although he finished third both in '92 and in 1996, Perot's ability to appeal to political outsiders, his personal wealth, and populist campaigns, particularly on the issue of trade, was a forerunner to Donald Trump.
I'm putting up my own money. I don't know if it's ever happened. I guess Ross Perot put up his money.
A graduate of the Naval Academy, Perot was honored with the Medal for Distinguished Public Service for his work on behalf of POWs.
And these men have great value to their wives, their children, and their parents.
His life defined by his favorite motto, inspired by Winston Churchill.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never.
And his love for the Lone Star State.
I was Texas born, Texas bred, and Texarkana raised, and when I die, I'll be Texas dead.
Chuck Todd, NBC News, Washington.
Chuck, thank you. Well, back here at home, we learned this morning that Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg will be speaking in Little Rock in September. The Clinton School of Public Service and the Clinton Foundation are bringing her to town as a part of a distinguished lecture series. The program begins at 6:30 at Jack Stevens Center September 3rd. That program is free, but reservations are required and seating is limited. At this time, all tickets are reserved, but you can join a wait list. For a link to reserve tickets, you can go to our website.